How to remove sunscreen from your face effectively. I'm going to be discussing two different ways. One for normal to dry skin types, and the other one is normal to oily skin types. Now, for those of you who ask, isn't there a sunscreen that is just easier to remove? Well, all sunscreens are formulated so that they're rub and smear resistant and water resistant. If it is an effective sunscreen, it is formulated to stay on the skin, otherwise it's not going to protect your skin. So really, there isn't a sunscreen that protects your skin really well, but also is easy to remove. They're just two totally different things. So the first one is, although physical sunscreens are healthier for the skin overall, they are generally a little tougher to remove, and that is because it is created to stay on the skin and create a physical barrier between the sun and your skin. Zinc oxide naturally doesn't dissolve in water, and it's generally formulated in a combination of oils and or silicones to help it spread evenly onto the skin and help it to stay on the skin. Now, because mineral sunscreens tend to have oils and waxes and silicones in the formulation, and it's tougher to remove, there are two things that you probably don't want to hear, and you're probably going to click off, but hear me out. Okay, so the first one is you do need to do a double cleanse. The first cleanse is to help break down the surface level oils that you have on your skin, whether it's from your own skin, the concealer, your makeup, your sunscreen, and primer. Any of those things are moisturizers, and the more things that you use of products that have oil in it, the more you're going to need what's called a pre-cleanse. Okay, the second cleanse is to actually cleanse your skin and rebalance your skin to the pH that it needs to be depending on your skin type. So for example, someone who has sensitive skin needs a little bit different pH than someone who has acne prone skin. So those are the first two things that you need to realize. It's just the more effective way to do it. Hi, my name is Christy, and I have been treating clients professionally for over 14 years and have done over 26,000 different treatments. And I will tell you, treatment after treatment after treatment, the double cleanse method, when someone comes in with full makeup on or they have very oily skin, you have to do a double cleanse. So focusing in the areas of hyperpigmentation and acne, a double cleanse is really important. And what type of pre-cleanse that you're using, as well as the products that you're using after it, will determine the result of your skin. So for example, if you're using a cleansing oil that's heavier in the oils, you may say, I don't like the way my skin feels. It has a greasy residue. My skin breaks out more. That means that the heavier oils that you're using did not completely come off the skin, so it's clogging your pores. For some of you, you're using a cleansing oil that tends to dehydrate the skin, so it does remove all the oils off, so now your skin is too dry. So I'm going to be talking about the different methods that you can use to help balance that out. So the first one is micellar water. Micellar water works best if you have normal to slightly dry, normal to oily, but very little to no breakouts. You use a light moisturizer, you use a chemical sunscreen, you use little to no concealer, no primer, and little to no makeup. That's what's best for micellar water. Now, micellar water, basically how it's used is you need a cotton pad to rub off. Once it breaks down and you spread the product all over your skin, the cotton pad, those cotton fibers, basically pull away the products, the dirt and the oil from your skin and gets onto the cotton pad. Now, this is not ideal if you have active, red, painful breakouts, especially if you have pustules. And the reason why is because if you have active breakouts, it's obvious that it's a visible sign that you have a higher amount of acne causing bacteria on your skin. If you have pustules and you're using that cotton, you may end up breaking open some of those pustules and spreading even more bacteria on your skin. So you don't want to do that if you have a lot of breakouts and a lot of pustules and or you have painful acne. Drier skin types tend to be lacking natural fatty acids in their skin. So micellar water may not be the best option. Probably one that has heavier oil, so something completely opposite of what oily breakout prone skin has, and that is oils that have fatty acids. So dry, mature skin is lacking in these oils. And so if you use an oil that is higher in linoleic acid, it has sunflower oil, safflower oil, some of the cleansing balms have waxes, capric triglyceride, which is a combination of glycerin and coconut oil, and shea butter. They use oils that typically are solid at room temperature. And when you use the heat of your skin and you're massaging it into your skin, it melts away a lot of the dirt, the oil, the makeup, the sunscreen, and the primer away from it. Now, there's some methods where you can tissue it off and others where you can rinse it off. I really recommend that you rinse it off and follow it with a hydrating cleanser, because if you just tissue it off, this is where over time dry skin can get that bumpy, congested skin. Now, cleansing oil is actually the most versatile of the pre-cleanse products. And so depending on the formulation and the type of oil that they're using, can be suitable for normal to oily skin types as well as normal to dry skin types. It just depends on the type of oil that they're using. So if you see that the main oil that they're using, so olive oil is very versatile. However, clinical studies have shown, and I did a video on this as far as olive oil, the different facial oils and what they are best known for, and I'll put a link in the description below of the different facial oil series that I did. But olive oil, clinical studies have shown that even though it's really high in antioxidants, it doesn't repair or restore the natural skin barrier. So although it's effective in breaking down a lot of the products on your skin, when you use it, and the main ingredient, the main oil that they use is olive oil, this is why sometimes people will complain that their skin is too dry, because they're not combining that oil with a hydrating type of oil. A lot of times they'll use capric triglyceride as a complementary oil with the olive oil, so that it's actually still in liquid form. It's more moisturizing than just olive oil. Now, for those of you who have who use a lot of oil-based products and you want to get that off, or you have normal to oily skin, a saponified form of cleansing oil, like a foaming cleansing oil, would be better. And the reason why is because the process of saponification, it basically takes the fats and the oils and turns it into a soap. So it's still using the oils to break down a lot of the oil products that you have on your skin, but because it foams, it's lifting that off your skin, and because you're rinsing it off, it takes that away. Now you have to be careful, because if you use too much of that, then it can be dry. So you may have to dilute that balancing cleansing oil a little bit more. Look for a foaming cleansing oil that has a combination of different oils. So for example, if you use a saponified form of coconut oil, people hear coconut oil and then they go, oh my gosh, it's gonna break me out. Not necessarily. Plain coconut oil, unprocessed coconut oil, is solid. And if it's mixed in with capric triglyceride, then it's a humectant because it's with glycerin. However, if you use saponified coconut oil, it becomes more of a liquid form gel that foams, so it's not really breakout prone. And if you find a cleansing oil that has some jojoba oil, that would be better. Jojoba oil is more closely related to human sebum. It's thinner, so you're rarely going to see cleansing oils that are all jojoba oil, because it's not as effective in breaking down, the heavier oils and the heavier sunscreen. So if it has a combination of jojoba oil and it has olive oil and another type of oil, apricot kernel oil is good, sesame oil is good, and the one that I like to use is the foaming cleansing oil, because it has the saponified coconut oil. So it has some antimicrobial and antibacterial agents, as well as it being it brings moisture to the skin. It does have some olive oil in it, and it also has some jojoba oil in it. That's a really good combination to generally address most skin types. So I'm going to show you how this actually works and why it's better for certain skin types. If you are not sure what type of facial oils best work with your skin. I'll put a whole series down below, best facial oils for anti-aging and for restoring barrier repair, that type of thing. And if you have oily, breakout prone skin, make sure to catch that video on the best cleansing oil for acne prone skin. And I'll also talk about the how to treat or how to deal with bumpy skin if you're using a cleansing oil or a cleansing balm. Because remember, makeup is an art, skincare is a science.